After those last few videos, I don't want to see a new head-on character for some time. So this time we are returning to a classic. We're gonna play as Axel. Didn't debut in the first game, but he's been iconic since the second. His wish in that game was to confront his father about the ridiculous wheel prison that he's been in for over a decade. His father said he's gonna have to stay in there for another decade, but he ripped his arms off in protest. Now, for some reason, he misses the wheel prison and employed a doctor to give him cybernetic arms and legs so that he could drive it once again, making the ending of Twisted Metal 2 all the more disappointing. And now, if he wins the competition, he has to give his wish to the doctor who gave him his new arms and legs. It's probably just as well, since he's already wasted one wish, but it does mean we are literally fighting for nothing. It's not going to stop us though, and we'll be doing that fighting in Russia. Moscow was a level in Twisted Metal 2, so that means this level should be comprised of the remaining 6.5 million miles of the country. But it's not. This level is also modeled after Moscow. We never got to go into the actual city last time we were here though, so this is still all new territory. And it may not be 6.5 million square miles, but it is still a ridiculously huge level. It's highly interactable as well. There's a missile in each corner of this square that we can launch at a building. There's a nuclear missile just in the center of the square. That's our environmental attack. And basically every building we see we can break into. It's kinda hard to believe how over-designed this level is. There's just tons of stuff you would have no reason to see in the course of fighting the 5 enemies here. It actually is highly reminiscent of the Moscow level in Tony Hawk's Underground, which is a nice nostalgia trip for me. But they expect you to spend hours in that level. We're only going to spend about 10 minutes here, and there's about as much to do. Up on top of this wall, we saw a teleporter and the full health pickup at the center. Snowbanks conveniently allow us to get up here anytime we need to. And since that brought us to the other side of the courtyard, let's launch 2 more missiles. That wasn't just for our own amusement, it also opens up a new pathway which we can explore inside this building later. For now, I'm gonna launch that last missile. I'm not quite sure what that building is, but it's very recognizable. A classic bit of Russian architecture. So of course we had to destroy it. And over near the nuclear missile area is this building where we can get our own environmental pickup so that we can detonate it at our own will. And it's not actually very good for a nuclear missile, but I'm sure we'll see that soon enough. I think this is some sort of train station. It's got its own teleporter, which leads to the top level. See, we can even see the original teleporter from the second teleporter. It's just too large of a building to reasonably navigate without breaking the laws of physics. And this is the path that the missiles opened up after knocking down the spires. Puts us back on top of the wall. So we've explored this area sufficiently. Haven't blown up the bomb ourselves yet, but we will in time. Now we gotta blow up this pathway to some underground tunnel of some sort. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but our minigame teleport is in here. It's one of the best hidden ones in the game, and it unlocks Axel when you complete it. He's one of the secret characters. It also happens to be one of the best places to use Axel's special. It's his usual shockwave, but when you use it down here, it bounces the enemy against the ceiling for additional damage, and drops them right back into range of the shockwave. Obviously that'll kill smaller vehicles very, very quickly. In fact, this special is excellent for dealing with smaller vehicles. And Axel has pretty high armor, so he'll stand up pretty well against small vehicles any day of the week. And we exclusively got small, low armor vehicles as our opponents here. Almost exclusively. I think Sweet Tooth's here as well. So this is a very easy matchup for old Axel here. Even easier since we got the special weapon upgrade, which you already saw me use. It allows us to charge up the special. Fully charged special will do about double damage. And in the spirit of being able to explore just about everything here, we can even explore the second level of this building. With the jump upgrade, it becomes very difficult to get up here. You have to jump at a very specific spot on the ramp. Without the upgrade, you can just jump normally at the peak of the ramp. And you don't even need to jump to the second level to get to the delicious innards of that building. You just drive right through the walls. But hey, we're showing off everything. For some reason, the other end of that tunnel with the minigame inside is that statue of a bell. So maybe it's some kind of secret espionage tunnel. I don't know. Can't enter that building. But the building directly across from it, of course we can. And it's just got a teleporter. This teleporter leads to the one on top of the wall, right near the full health pickup. So let's go get that now. Could always get on top of those buildings that we just drove through, but there are no pickups or anything up there. We're not really supposed to. It's just more drivable ground. And the final area that we haven't yet explored is the inside of this building, which we blew up with missiles. Not very much to do or see. You don't even need the ramp. You can, once again, blow out the walls. Freely drive in and out of here at your discretion. It's the least interesting building, but it's there. One of the many, many things that are just there in this level. And back to the building with its own teleporter loop inside of it, which we don't even need if we have the jump upgrade. We can get to the third level anyway, but it's certainly a lot easier with the teleporter. I'm gonna spend most of the rest of my time here cleaning up the remaining enemies since there's nothing else to do. It can be hard to even find your opponents. You can locate them on the minimap, but by the time you get to them, they could easily be somewhere else. And when you do get to them, you're almost certainly going to be in a one-on-one matchup. Axel's stats and his special are really, really well suited to one-on-one matchups. So this level is a cakewalk. In fact, most of the game is pretty easy as Axel. He's a very strong character in head-on. Just to show it off, when he is at low health, he has kind of a wobbly wheel. It's one of the least detailed, broken down looks of any of the vehicles. The wobbly wheel used to be much more pronounced in some of his previous appearances, because usually those wheels are about 10 feet across. Axel the man used to be about an 8-foot tall giant. They finally realized how inhuman his proportions were, made it much, much smaller and head-on. For the sake of realism, I guess? Not normally a thing they strive for, especially in this installment. And another thing about the upgraded special is that it links a lightning bolt between you and your opponent. Doesn't do any extra damage, just indicates that you are doing the improved special. Makes a little more sense in the PSP version because when you have your special selected, there are little nodes that pop up in the footboard of the vehicle, and they arc lightning between Axel's feet. It's a really cool visual effect, and I don't know why they removed it from this game. But since that exploding husk was our final opponent, seems as good a time as any to show off what Axel looked like in the PSP version. It's certainly not anything game-changing, but it is nice to have some visual indicator that the special is selected. Gives the character a little bit more of a dynamic look. And the game is objectively worse for having removed it. But that is our battle completed. Time to grant a wish to some doctor character who we've never met and had nothing to do with the battle.
Congratulations, Axel. You've managed to defeat the competition and may claim your prize.
Yes, Axel, keep your promise and claim your prize.
Dr. Simu?
So you do know each other then?
Yes, he's the man who gave me these. I tore my arms free of this contraption, this prison. He built me new ones. He let me drive again.
And what was your promise, Axel?
I promised him my victory wish.
Well then, I guess you'll want to turn your winnings over to the good doctor here.
Yes, oh yes. Yes, of course he does. Give it to me. Give it to me.
I can't do it.
Think before you speak, boy.
No! There's been too much destruction. It was a mistake for me to compete. And it would be a mistake to let Twisted Metal continue.
What?
I want to remove violence from the world.
I think you've misspoken.
I'm sorry. But
Don't do it!
wish
Final warning!
for pizza!
Pizza? Pizza. Your wish for pizza is granted.
No! Let me out of this thing!
Now, perhaps I'll consider releasing you after you win next year's Twisted Metal. You want a slice?
The pizza wipe is a tragically underused cinematic technique, and I am thankful to this ending for doing its part to correct that. It had to pull out a very silly twist to get there, but it was worth it. I like that the classically melodramatic Axel got the requisite end Twisted Metal wish, and I'm glad Dr. Zimu didn't get what he wanted, because that guy sucked, and was probably more than a little bit racist. He did call dibs on Axel's next wish, but that's never going to happen, so it's as good as nothing.